Okay, so you just finished round one, and you're wondering where to go for round two. Here are some suggestions. So when I'm in my demo or practice game, and I'm now just beginning year two, much like you. So when I look over, the first thing I should do is review my overview points. And I see that my per share statistic for revenue went from $12 to $21 per share, and that's a 76% increase year over year. So I earned 75 points. Now, my quick ratio went down because I borrowed a lot of money, so that's my quick ratio went down because I borrowed a lot of short-term liabilities, so that's understandable because I had to borrow money to get the company started. My debt ratio is actually not bad because I did increase the amount of assets compared to my debt, so my debt ratio went down a little bit by 11%. My gross profit margin, I was able to get it from 40 to 48%, so that's a 19% improvement, and my operational from 23 to 29%, which is a 29% improvement, and my net from 16 to 20, which is a 30% improvement. So I earned nice points there, and this is what the game's all about, is increasing those profit margins, maximizing wealth for your shareholders. That's why companies are in business, to make money, to make profits, to maximize wealth. People don't start businesses to say, I want to make a great product at a low price, even if it means I take a loss on it. No, companies are in business to make a profit. So if you design your vehicle at the highest of all features at a low price, you probably sold a lot of cars but didn't make a lot of money. So what's the point of being in business if you're not making money? Let's keep that in mind. Okay, so my total asset turnover, this actually went from 1.61 to 1.5. So if you've been reading along and listening and watching my lectures on Chapter 3 and doing the homework, you know that I increased my asset base. When you increase your asset base a great deal, your revenues have to increase as well. So my revenues didn't increase as fast as my assets because I had to buy a lot of plants and I had to buy a lot of equipment. So I lost a couple of points there, which I'm fine with because I'm investing in the company. My return on equity increased, so I was able to make money for the the profits in relationship to the money that the investors own in the company went up. So that was good. Earnings per share went up. I earned 100 points there. And my return on assets went up 21%. So this would have been a lot better because we're looking at profits to assets, but I bought a lot of assets. So it's hard to really have a big showing here when you're putting a lot of money into your company. So my market capitalization went up. Got 100 points there. This is the stock price. Basically, market capitalization is stock price times outstanding shares. My book value per share, which is my equity per share, went up by 59%. And my forecasts were much tighter. So my forecasts went from 65% accurate to 188, 98, 94% accurate. So I earned some points on the forecast. And I made some operational investments. So every time I have made more than 100% increase here, the most you can earn here is 100 points. So if next round, if I increase it by 50%, I'll earn 50 points. And I had a deficit. So why did I have this deficit and lose 100 points? If this is a negative 100, I should have got 100 points here, which would have brought me to a score of 853 when you add back the negative plus 100. So why did I get this negative unexpected deficit? Because it showed my pro forma financial statements showed a surplus. Well, when you have questions like this, why you didn't perform or something didn't do well one of these overview points, you need to go to your assessment. And you can go down to your assessment, and I'll go down to cash management. I only got 2 stars. So if I open this up, it says unsold vehicles at the end of the year can lead to unexpected deficits. Make sure your forecasts are not too overly aggressive. Try to leave cash surplus of $15 million or more as a cushion for any unrealized sales. Excess inventory can be sold on the production page. Okay, so what they're saying, let me go to the production page. Yep, they're right. I had unsold inventory. So my current inventory, these are the cars I made last round but didn't sell them. It had a very small surplus. So this explains why I had this deficit. So let me go back to assessments. So revenues were average. I can read here to figure out how to improve that. Stock price was average. This will give me some hints on to improve that. I did great on my profit margins, which I said before. I did really well on my profit margins. Total asset turnover was a little bit low. return on assets were low because I know why, because I bought a lot of assets. So in relationship to my company, I was accelerating my asset purchases faster than my profits and sales. My return on equity is excellent. Operational investments are average. Cash management we know was low because I had a deficit. And my total points were about average. So for this round, I scored about 55 percentile, meaning I beat 55% of the players who played the simulation for round one. So that's how, when you're playing the game, when you move from one round to the next, you want to look at this assessment page. You get a good idea of how well you did and ideas of how you will improve your simulation. Then I will go to the charts page and I'll look at my performance charts and I'll see how I did come from year 0 to year 1. Most of them is an improvement, which most people should have an improvement because the market is expanding pretty quickly, and year 1 management was so poor they were all fired and I was hired to replace them. And if I look at my my forecast here, I'll see that economy, I only made 2,000 vehicles. The yellow represents my actual sales, but the blue bar represents my market potential. So I could have sold another 148 cars here. On the other hand, my sedan, my yellow sales match my market potential. So I actually made 3,000 vehicles. So I met all my demand, but I had this leftover inventory, which is only a bad thing is if it causes an unexpected deficit. And also, the inventory is an asset. So when I have leftover inventory, that produces an unexpected extra assets because inventory is assets, and that was made my return on assets and total asset turnover suffer. Then I can look at the sales charts, the marketing charts, the industry charts, and it gives me an idea of where my marketing is compared to everybody else. Then I would go into the industry page, and here in the industry page, let me just go back to the marketing, would show where I stand compared to the other players for different vehicles. Now in the industry page, I have my company and all the relevant facts of my company, including my market potential as a percentage, my units sold, and my profit margins, and my overall points and standings. But what's really neat is I could look at my competitors and say, well, what were their market potential? What was their profit margins? How did they do in points, in scoring? So here's where I can do a lot of research. So if I'm a bottom performer in the simulation, I can go to the industry and say, who was the #1 performer in points? And I can look at their team and see, okay, what did they do? How can I learn from a better player? So the industry is very important for that. Then we get to the financials, which backs up all the financials for the company. And then we go to sales. So on the sales page, now I have to start over and start with year 2 and I have to redesign my vehicles because now customers are expecting more. So customer expectations have increased. I do have some operational cost reductions here. So as you can see, if I build my car, I'm spending $3,500 to get a fuel economy, I'm getting a $1,200 reduction. So that's helping me to reduce my total costs. And that came from the production page. So I made these operational investments here that help me to now reduce the cost of this year's car, which will help to improve my profit margins. So I have to go through my sales, my marketing again, my production, and my finance to complete the second round, hopefully incorporating and making changes to make me perform better. And of course, as always, for the team competition, I have to complete the reflective observations. Okay, so how did everyone do in the first round? So in the first round of the team competition, I have a number of companies here that scored over 800 points. You only need 2,600 points to win the simulation, get your full points for the project. And here some people are almost halfway there or a third of the way there. So a lot of teams scored very well in the simulation, which is great. But then you want to score an average of like 335 points a round. So most teams scored over 335 points. I had a number of teams, though, that scored below 300 points. And that was bad. What primarily was the problem with these teams? We see the teams at top, we see very high profit margins. But the teams who didn't score well have profit margins below the starting point. So everyone started at a profit margin of 40%. So anybody who has a profit margin below 40% didn't manage their company better than the previous management team. And that's why they are disappointing in their returns and their points and their results, is because they really didn't understand what they're doing with the simulation in business. And in business, you have to increase profits. So if you didn't increase your gross profit margin, that's a big mistake, and that's why you lost a lot of points. In addition to maybe unexpected deficits and other mistakes you may have made. And you can see in the stock price, the teams with the highest earnings and points and net profits had the highest stock prices, while teams with lower earnings had much lower stock prices. So we have a range from $6 per share all the way up to $21 per share, showing you how investors felt about your company. Okay. So you could go in here and you can review your results and see how you did among other companies. But that's basically something you should do to reflect upon your position in the simulation compared to everybody else's, and then begin your year 2 and hopefully build upon your information from year 1, which is the best thing I can tell you is to go through your assessment and look at your results and see the informational hints to help you perform better. So good luck to everybody on the second round, and I hope you earn back any of the points you may have lost in the first round. Okay, thank you and good luck.